who are thoughtful and intelligent? Or do you want to be surrounded by people who immediately respond to everything by throwing a tantrum and trying to make everyone around them angry?
I'm sorry.
The world will be what you make it.
Okay.
For better or worse.
All right. I'm
not
sorry.
always going to be here to give you the answers. One day, we'll have to
No, Daddy, no.
say goodbye. I'll have to leave.
No.
You will have to learn to think for yourself.
No.
With that out of the way, there is
I
no...
can't think without you. Man, what is this dude doing, bruh? This man out here talking to y'all like y'all some children.
reason to be angry about game key cards.
I mean, people have a right to be disappointed about it. Now, mind you, I don't think people should be angry about this. I just think people don't like the idea, Sunground Studios, is the fact that this is where the future of gaming is heading. And they feel as if Nintendo, hey, you should do something. You should force these companies to put these games on the cartridge. I think that's where it's coming down to. But at the end of the day, guys, Nintendo ain't going to do that because, like I said, Street Fighter 6 runs better on the Switch 2 than it does than it does even on the Series S. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's downloaded on the platform. Because if Capcom had to compress the game, which happened a lot with the Switch 1, it would only make the games look worse. So this is a compromise that Nintendo was like, you know what, we're perfectly fine with this. So at the end of the day, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be so bad when it comes to third party.
People have utterly and absolutely misunderstood this topic entirely.
No.
Games are...
If people misunderstood, they would have just bought into the idea and purchased it. That's why people are complaining about it.
Not being forced to launch as game key cards. Nintendo has given no indication that any games will be game key card exclusive. Take a look at the current gaming landscape.
It's been like that already, man. I really don't understand as to why you people complaining about game key cards. A lot of it was on the Switch 1. You know what I'm saying? I told you, with the fact that these games was going to push the hardware to its limits, especially when Nintendo's next generation portable, we kind of already knew this. So a lot of these complaints ain't really genuine. Now, I'm not saying that you guys have to like it, but at the same time, we already knew this on the Switch 1. Now we got a bunch of rage baiters hating on the fact, oh, they gave key. Oh my games. You never really did anyway. Even on the Switch 1 when you bought NBA 2K. Now all of a sudden you people want to come out and say, oh, now they labeling it. I'm angry. What's going on here? Nintendo, you should be forcing them. Get your platform. You should be telling them what they need to do. Nintendo ain't going to tell them anything because guess what? You tell these third party to not do what they want and say, hey, we want to force you to put these games on a cartridge. Well, guess what? That's going to be less third party for you because Capcom going to look at it like, yeah, well, in that case, we're not making Street Fighter 6. We're not going to make these third-party games for you. This is something that Nintendo gamers are just going to have to willingly accept, no different than the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
What do we have right now? We have game boxes being sold that don't even have cartridges inside.
Yeah.
They only have download codes, and it is always difficult to tell.
Man, listen, man. I see you came with the business suit and the tie and the little Smash Bros. Emblem. It really isn't that hard to tell, guys. Just look at the box for no longer than 3 seconds. And you could already tell that the game ain't even on the cartridge, bro. It even tells you it's just an empty box with no game in it. And there's a redeemable code. Matter of fact, I even got a few of them because I seen them. They have the arcade games, and then you buy it. It's like like table tennis or something, and it's just a code in the box. You get what I'm saying? But it's just priced at $10, no different than when you would have bought it on the eShop. But yeah, I think it is pointless.
You have to look extremely closely and read the entire box.
No, you don't. You just have to look at the top or bottom label, and there you go. I mean, come on, man. A man of this sort of sophistication shouldn't have to be reading the whole box to know if the game is on the cartridge. I mean, come on now, bruh.
You even figure it out. We have cartridges being sold that barely have any data and don't function at all. Yes. Right now. That's happening right now.
Yeah, we know that.
When was the last time you purchased a Switch cartridge only to find that the game can't run because it requires a huge download and you don't...
And I told people this was going to impact bigger size games. So at the end of the day, the Switch is bottlenecked. Now, mind you, if they do it digital, the Switch can probably get anything. The Switch 2 can get anything it wants. But if you guys are asking these companies to compress and make their games look worse on purpose just so they can fit on a cartridge, well, guess what? It's no different than Mortal Kombat 1, and they did the same thing, and the game still looks like garbage. Now we might not get stuff like that going on with the Switch 2, except the only difference is it just be a game key card, gives you the license for the game, and you'll have a pretty playable version of the game.
Have enough space on your storage to even download the required portion of the game. What's the point of the cartridge then? Think about it. We already have games that function the exact same as game key cards. The only difference is right now, publishers are being dishonest about it. It is not fair to consumers, to gamers, to be dishonest about the product like this.
Well, Nintendo was kind of dishonest in regards to that Switch too. I mean, yeah, they put it on the box, but they was pretty disingenuous saying, hey guys, it's essentially a one-for-one version on the Switch 2 because it's backwards compat. They didn't sit there and tell people that some games wouldn't work. They didn't tell people that. You know that, bros. Don't be disingenuous with that. I mean, it's funny because I seen this video from Fritanga, and I don't think the video is as bad as the way he made it seem. But at the same time, bro, I can see why people are calling you out because they feel that you're being disingenuous.
So how do you fix a problem like this? Transparency and honesty.
That's not going to fix the problem. Hold up. What you mean? Companies ain't going to... companies are not going to care. That's not going to fix no problem here, buddy. Companies are going to still advocate for game key cards because why? It's cheaper, it's much more affordable, and it's easier. Namco, Square, Capcom, they're going to be like, nah, man, we ain't trying to put these games in a game cartridge. We're just going to give y'all some game key cards. It's easy for us. Put like 200 megabytes on it and just have them downloaded online. We ain't going to do all that. That takes time.
If a publisher sells a game on a cartridge that doesn't even have the whole game on it, they should be required to at least tell customers that.
Yes.
Shouldn't they?
But it won't fix the problem. And this is why people are complaining because they don't want to see this happen with Nintendo. Nintendo, to a lot of people, was the last company to even maintain some form of physical media in the traditional sense of video gaming. So for you to sit there to say, oh, it's going to fix it. Okay, we got the transparency. Okay, we got that. Then that means those games are just going to sit on the shelves. Ain't nobody going to want to buy these games. There's no point of even Capcom or whoever is printing these game key cards because ain't nobody want to buy them anyway. You might as well just buy the digital version. And if they have a $10 difference, like what we see with Mario Kart World, 80, 90 physical, then people are going to just opt out for the digital release anyway.
If only there was some company who actually cared about the user experience for its customers.
Yes,
if only there was a company...
Sunground Studios, they would never do that. They would put all their games in a cartridge for you. They would never do that.
That actually cared about transparency, and honesty, and accountability.
You of all people, yes.
Oh, what's that?
Huh?
Oh, Nintendo has implemented a policy so publishers have to disclose if the entire game is on the cartridge? If you look at the wording of Nintendo's announcement...
I don't think you understand it. I think this is... Now I see why people are calling you out. It's the fact that people don't like it. Then that means that mostly Nintendo games would probably more likely be on the cartridge. So 15,000 of those games ain't going to be even playable. They're just going to be a license key at this point. I guess that's what's making people kind of say, hey, I'm done with Nintendo. I'm done with it. Matter of fact, people say, I'm going to go find a new hobby. I even seen it in your own comment section. People are tired of it. You know what I'm saying? So all this talking that y'all doing about, physical media, it's alive, bro. It's dead, bro. Stop talking about it.
The difference is that entire games must be on standard cartridges. Look at the wording and read it for yourself and figure it out.
I don't think that's the problem. I just think that people want Nintendo to do something about it. But even then, Nintendo can't enforce anything. If they told Capcom, hey, Capcom, you can't do that to our audience. We would rather have you make the game more expensive as long as you put it on a bigger cartridge. Maybe that can help. That's something that I brought up. But at the end of the day, who wants to pay $90 for a Street Fighter 6 on a 64 gigabyte cartridge when you could just buy digital for like half of that. You feel what I'm saying? That's, like I said, we're back to the N64 days. But except this time, it's a lot worse. It's a license key. Because back then, when they would put games on the Super Nintendo with the FX, they had to make those cartridges more expensive to compensate for the manufacturer. We get that. It's perfectly understandable. It's either they compress it within a 32 gigabyte cartridge space, or they have to acquire a bigger cartridge, which is only going to cost the publisher more money, which that's not what they're going to do. Y'all know this.
Publishers are not going to be allowed to be dishonest about the physical product they are selling anymore.
That's not going to help gaming.
Nintendo is now requiring publishers to label their games.
But is Nintendo requiring them not to get away with this? And the funny thing is, like I said, would Street Fighter 6 look better on the Nintendo Switch 2 over the Series S if it wasn't for that? For you guys that want to talk about physical media, if they compress the game to fit within that 32 gigabyte parameters, that means that the game will look worse. Do you get what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to use the full potential of your Switch hardware. So that's probably why Nintendo said, you know what? Just let the third party decide, do what they want, and we'll make the games the way we want.
With a specific category, so the customers know immediately whether or not the game is fully on the cartridge, and that way customers can make informed buying decisions.
Well, I don't think people are going to be buying these.
Being forced to be game keycard exclusive. Nintendo has
I mean, technically speaking, they are, though. Hold on. Let me add to that. Now, I get what you're coming from, but I'm going to add to the point where they are. They're essentially forced to do that because if I'm making a game, right, and my game is 100 gigabytes on PlayStation, right, and I looked at the 16, 32 gigabyte, even 64 gigabyte cartridge won't be enough unless I go through it with my team, try to compress it, audio, whatever the case is. Y'all know with game development, and try to compress that within a 64 gigabyte cartridge. Now, mind you, with all the extra additional work, time, and effort that I went to go do that, I'm going to want to be compensated for that. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to have to sell you the cartridge for it. There's going to be limited run prices. $100 resale prices. Okay? I had to put it on a 64 gigabyte cartridge for y'all. I had to go through the game with my development team to make sure that it fits within the constraints of the cartridge. Yes, I'm going to want to be compensated for that. How hard is that for gamers to understand?
Had any sort of evidence to indicate that they will be releasing games as game keycard only. That is merely a knee-jerk, childish reaction that people are having on the internet.
You're getting emotional.
Because they don't pay attention.
Right.
I wonder what this new category of game cartridges should be called so that customers know immediately what they're buying.
But it's not about that, bro. I think people are fully aware. They know that this is going on. This is why they're crying and complaining about it. If they didn't know this was going on, they would have bought it. Oh, I got my key card and it don't work. I gotta be online to use it. They're complaining about it because they don't like the idea of it. Come on, man.
Let me give you a moment. See if you can figure out what this new category of game cartridge could be called.
Cocoa melon. Cocoa melon, right?
Have you figured it out yet?
Yes, cocoa melon.
Hey. Look here. Are you paying attention?
Yes, cocoa melon.
What have you got there?
Cocoa melon.
Give me your phone. Give me that.
It's cocoa melon. This?
Cocoa melon?
Yes! Yeah, cocoa melon! Yay!
Were you not paying attention to anything I just said?
Actually, I wasn't, low-key. You know what I mean? I actually wasn't. I was watching cocoa melon. Give it back to me. I want my cocoa melon. My daddy abusing me. I want CPS. I'm tired of this. He took my cocoa melon away from me. Give it back.
Forget it.
Give it back.
Take your cocoa melon.
You animal. You vicious animal. Like I said, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, it's like I said, right? Let's explain. And also, too, I think people want the transparency based off, like, what are the reasons why Nintendo's charging $80 for Mario Kart World? What cartridge size is it? Like, what is the justification of it? Nobody really knows. It seems like Nintendo's just trying to take advantage. But like I said, we'll save that for the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys go out there and support this video, man. Make sure you share it around, man. And like I said, we already know Mr. Sunground Studios would never put a game key in one of his game offerings, right?